Good morning. It's me, Matt. Here's the New York Times. And here is a man called Paul Wolzak. There he is. That man just got pardoned by Trump because, oh, by the way, it's June in New York City and it's cold enough that I need to wear a sweater. Not enjoying that, but it is what it is. Just in case you're thinking this is a post from January. This man had been due to serve more than a year in prison, 16 months in prison, for tax fraud. He is a former nursing home executive. And you know what that means? It means he was profiting off nursing homes. He did not pay much tax. And by much tax, I mean an awful lot. I think he paid basically any Medicaid, any of his employees' tax for years. And as a result, under a judge recently, he was sentenced to this prison term. The judge said, just because you're rich, there's no get out of jail free card, which is ironic because his recent pardon suggests otherwise. His mother went to a candlelit dinner at Mar-a-Lago in Florida in May. She paid $1 million to sit there, and Trump wrote an unconditional pardon the next day. He's been petitioning Trump for pardon ever since Trump took office. A couple of things about his application. He suggested that the prosecution for tax crimes was politically motivated because his mother is a prominent Republican donor. Seems to me like the prosecution for tax crimes is actually because this man didn't pay any tax and committed tax crimes, as the judge said. But we live in an alternate reality now. 2 days ago, the New York Times ran a big story about how Trump is trumpeting his profits and how he's corrupt on a scale that never has happened before. A few quotes in that article struck me. One was from Donald Trump's son, Don Jr. He said, "They're going to hit you either way, so we're just going to play the game," which is kind of a very honest admission of corruption. And another quote was that in 50 years of covering corruption, this expert's head is still spinning, based on what Trump is doing openly right now. It's one of those ones where another quote from that article was also that 20% of the public care about this, 80% are just exhausted and done being outraged. When you are done being outraged by this level of brazen corruption, that Trump has won, really. By being so corrupt on so many levels, his sense is that I'm just going to exhaust people. The public accept that politicians are corrupt, I think, now. You really have to do sort of horrific things. What was it? I think Trump said he'd have to shoot someone on Fifth Avenue. Like he could get away with pretty much anything at this point. He'd have to shoot someone on Fifth Avenue to avoid winning the election at that point. Politics is weird in this country right now. There's a truck driving past, which is loud. I don't like this level of corruption from our country's elected leaders. And I think that it's totally reasonable to be outraged by it. And it's sensible to both acknowledge that outrage and just to share it with other people, and to just have a conversation about it, and more so have the conversation about the fatigue we all have of this corruption. Like, I'm just tired of it. Oh, it's typical politicians, isn't it? Well, it's actually on a scale never before seen by a US president, and there is an actual alternative to seeing this kind of corruption. I love, however, that the young Mr. Wolzak, who loved to go to Cartier and Bergdorf Goodman, and he bought himself a $2 million yacht, which isn't that expensive for a yacht, actually, even though they're calling it a luxury purchase. You buy a much more expensive yacht if you want one. In his application for pardon, he said, well, Joe Biden pardoned his son. And it's true. Joe Biden did pardon his son. And at the time, everyone said it was corrupt and it would open the door for more corruption. And it did. Don't love it. Don't love the presidential pardon system. Don't love partisan politics. Don't love pardoning the people who make you the most money, even when they've committed crimes that are at the expense of regular Americans. Don't know what else to say about that, really, apart from thanks for letting me read the newspaper so that you don't have to. Hopefully it'll warm up here a bit, because I really want to take this sweater off, even though it does, let's be honest, suit me. Have a great day. Thanks for letting me read the newspaper so that you don't have to.